With the recent context of Bangladesh, it is relevant to say that the quota system was meant to bring balance, but it's tipping the scales of justice. Recently, Bangladesh is witnessing unprecedented protests against its quota system for government jobs. Students are demanding for a merit-based system, while the government still struggling to find a solution. Before starting this lecture, I welcome you to SRIRAM's IS, an institute that's serving the nation since 1985. And yet, if you have not subscribed the channel so far, do subscribe for more innovative and engaging sessions. Now it is important to understand that as protests rage on, it is clear that quota system has become a lightning rod for deeper frustration about opportunity, equality, and the future of Bangladesh. But to understand the complexity of this issue, we need to first dive deeper into the history of the quota system. The quota system in Bangladesh has a complex history that spans over 4 decades. For the first time, it was introduced in 1972, shortly after the country gained the independence from Pakistan. And who don't know the contribution that India gave that time for the independence of Bangladesh. Now, the overall quota system aimed to provide opportunities for marginalized group and to promote the social justice. In the initial stage, the quota was set at 10% for freedom fighters and 5% for women. However, over the year, the system underwent significant changes, with various groups being added and the quota percentage increased. Now in between 1990s and 2000, the government expanded the quota system to include citizens from backward districts, ethnic minorities, people with disabilities and religious minorities. The quota percentage was also increased, with freedom fighters receiving 30% of the total and women receiving 10%. However, this expansion and increase in quota percentage led to criticism that the system was fostering corruption and nepotism, limiting opportunities for meritorious candidates and perpetuating inequalities. And despite attempts at reform, the quota system remained a contentious issue. In 2010, the government announced plans to reduce quota percentage, but it faced resistance from quota beneficiaries. And then in 2018, a new reform plan was announced, which included reducing the quota percentage to 20%, introducing a merit-based system for 80% of the position, and creating a new category for meritorious candidates. However, this plan was met with skepticism and protests continued to grow. And that's the reason for the recent protests led by students and activists demands a complete overhaul of the quota system. Protesters argues that the system favors privilege over merit, perpetuates inequality and limits opportunities for deserving candidates. The government has faced pressure to address the issue, with some ministers, however, calling for a review of the system. Now, as the protests continue, it remains to see whether the government will implement meaningful reforms or maintain the status quo. Now, let's understand in a brief that what have so far been done. The government of Bangladesh initially expressed willingness to hold talks with students protesting against the job quota system. However, the offer was rejected by the students completely, who demanded action instead of dialogues. The government deployed units of paramilitary border guard forces alongside police outside the University of Dhaka campus to disperse the students protesting against the job quota system. And with that, the authorities ordered the closure of all public and private universities for an indefinite period to put a lid on the unrest. And the government also shut down mobile internet networks to quell the demonstration. Additionally, access to Facebook, the main platform used to organize the protests, was restricted by multiple internet providers. And later, the Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina also addressed the nation, condemning the killings and insisting the perpetrators would be brought to justice. However, he did not announce any step to reform the quota system, which is the core demand of the students. Now let's understand India's stance on the Bangladesh protest. So far, India has described the violent protest in Bangladesh as an internal matter of Dhaka, indicating that it will not interfere in the situation. However, India is closely monitoring the situation due to the presence of about 15,000 Indian nationals, including 8,500 students in Bangladesh. The Indian government has also issued an advisory for Indian nationals in Bangladesh, urging them to stay indoors and avoid non-essential travel. And the Indian High Commission in Dhaka is continuously coordinating with local authorities to provide adequate security to Indian students wishing to return to India. So far, 245 students have returned to India.
And we have a large student community, as I told you, 8,500 students, so thereabout. Many of them pursue medical education also in that country. So they are all safe and sound, and we are in touch. They are in touch with our High Commission, with our Assistant High Commission as well. We are regularly keeping in touch with them to render all assistance, any assistance that they may need.
Now what is the need of the time is that Bangladesh government should consider reforming the quota system to address the concerns of students and ensure a more merit-based approach to job recruitment. And the government should engage in open dialogue with students, teachers and civil society to understand their concern and work towards mutually acceptable situation. At last, I hope you enjoyed this session, and if so, do press the like button and give your valuable opinion in the comment section. God bless you.